and I have a quick video discussing priorities, focus, Forrest Gump, and how we're going to achieve victory. All right, we got to go through these topics here quickly, and basically Forrest Gump was successful in everything that he did because he was dumb enough to focus on everything that he did. He was successful because he didn't overcomplicate things and get all over the place. He was a direct line between his start and his end point. He wasn't all over the place, so he flew direct, a straight line as the crow flies, as they say, versus the way a moth flies, which is all helter-skelter. All right? So that needs to be what we need to do in order to achieve. And we need to be able to distinguish between symptoms of problems and the cause of the problems. The cause of the problem is that basically we don't have power because our energy is harvested by the New World Order, fascist, Zionist, central bank, mafia. That they harvest it through the monetary system. You understand that? That's a really important concept, because even if we boycotted every Wall Street company and we took all of our money out of the banks and we do all those things, and those are good steps, we will still be enslaved because our controllers can pay all of the goons to beat us down, to keep us living in fear, because they can imprison us and ultimately enslave us and put us in jail and those sorts of things. So they will respond to us when we control the monetary system. It's that simple. Again, this is a K-Rock-ism. It's a universal truth. Whoever controls the distribution and creation of money in any society for all of time into the future and back into the past, that will be the real government of that society. It doesn't matter, if you put up all these buildings like you have in Washington, it looks like it says United States on it and all that sort of stuff. It doesn't really matter if an outside entity has monopoly control over the monetary system. That outside entity will, in effect, excuse me, that outside entity will, in effect, be the true controllers, and government just means control. It's those are synonyms. So we need, the only way the people will be free is if they control the distribution and circulation and creation of their monetary system. And it's got to flow. And if you create too much of that thing, you'll have inflation. If you create too little of that thing, that'll be a lag on the prosperity of that society. So we want to have it be able to expand just as quickly, the supply of the money, and circulate just as freely as possible to keep up with the productivity of that society. So so getting into the priorities and the symptoms and the causes, when I do my videos, I don't focus on the TSA for hours and hours and hours, because that's a symptom. I don't focus on GMO foods for hours and hours and hours, and it's a very important topic, but it's a symptom. I don't focus on chemtrails or the police beating people up in Oakland, and these are very important topics. But what happens is, the way these protests are set up, that you have the Occupy or the Tea Party or whatever, ultimately, if you're protesting or voting, the system is controlled so that those alternatives will not liberate us. If we protest, nothing happens other than the people, the slaves, butt heads with the goons, who are also slaves. They're just house slaves. So that system, all it does is get the slaves fighting the slaves. Alternatively, if you do the Tea Party technique, where you show up in permitted events and you have speakers who, by the way, are all controlled, who don't have any new solutions other than voting, it goes nowhere. The whole Glenn Beck, Sarah Palin thing went absolutely nowhere. the people that they elected, supposedly with this great constitutional movement, were all, by and large, almost all of them were in favor of the bailouts, or in favor of the Patriot Act, which destroys the Constitution. It's completely insane. Okay, so finally, then you have elections, which is the Ron Paul method. Well, by definition, if you register to vote, that automatically makes you testify that you're a U.S. citizen. And if you're a U.S. citizen, that means that you're a fictitious entity, corporation, and you give up your inalienable rights just by registering. That doesn't even count if Paul wins. And if he does win, he's in favor of a monetary system, which is the same one which we had bank-engineered panics in 1883, 1907, 1921, 1929, and finally the United States was bankrupted in 1933. Since the United States has no money, it would have to borrow the gold and silver from the New World Order. That's exactly how they bankrupt countries in the first place. So they bankrupt countries because when money is borrowed into circulation, that is unsustainable. It's impossible to pay off because there's always more money that is owed than is what is actually in circulation. So those solutions don't work. Debt-based money, whether it's gold, silver, paper, or digital, all of those systems are unsustainable because the real problem is usury. So the point I'm getting at is, in order for us to achieve victory, we need to follow my plan, which is thousands of local currencies, a debt jubilee, the non-aggression principle, and finally the elimination of income and property taxes. Not that there can't be a whole lot of steps past that, but if we can unify, if Democrats and Republicans, independents, everybody can get together on those priorities, we're enslaved, number one, through the monetary system. Well, again, if you control the monetary system, you harness your own energy in your community. All of your neighbors' energy is harnessed, and you get off the Federal Reserve System. Don't complain about it. They have a crappy system. Don't use it. Use your own. Create your own monetary system. You have just as much of a right to create currency as the private for-profit Zionist Federal Reserve. There's no reason why you can't do it. So stop complaining, take action, but don't protest, don't vote, take action and be Forrest Gump about it. Those four things, and none of them require a vote. Just move forward with them. All right, so this is K-Rock signing out, the Truth Bomb. Check me out on YouTube, Truth Bomb 1 is the channel, and the other place you can find me is on Facebook under Wayne Walton, and I want to gain as many friends as possible so I can spread this message. And if it resonates with you, please dig into my videos, because I give how-tos specifically, and I'm building a PowerPoint right now to go step by step how to specifically create a local currency. It's pretty simple, and thanks for listening.